and Hood Doc from Blazers. So it looks like we're getting a lot of Fools members going through to these next rounds.
Yeah, and it looks like JB Week's gear just, you know, outmatching Hudok's, who's
there we have it. He's
falling right there.
Last fight, potentially, I believe, of this section. Nose Peg Man against, what's that, KL Merle.
Kimmerin, maybe?
Something,
I'm not too sure.
Killamillerin.
And
both out of food,
yeah.
and KLM manages to pull through with the victory. Pretty decent against his opponent who had Mystics there. Nice damage output.
And we're about to jump into the next phase in a moment, any second now. But first, over back to us just to talk about what we saw right there. Very unfortunate for Adam. I'd be kicking myself if I made that fight. I mean, the fights that you have for that first 1v1, you can't choose it yourself. Yeah. You're automatically randomly matched against other opponents. So for him at the moment, you know, that sucks to get one of the strongest Fools members up against him with a DFS, with the Suffering Ring, just outgearing him, and I'd say outplaying him as well.
He did a really good job, yeah. I mean, Boaty, commiserations obviously, but he did a good job to get as far as he did. Obviously, he's made it through to the 1v1. I know that he was very eager to make it a little bit further than that, but as you said, he went up against an opponent who had much better gear than him. He did seem to, yeah, it did seem to play on a different kind of level. Maybe Boaty wasn't just ready. Who knows? We'll find out when this is all over. We'll be having a look at, not having a look, sorry. We'll be having a listen to the individual players that have been on stage and their, you know, their time throughout the tournament and leading up to that. So hopefully, Boaty can remember that moment and let us know what was running through his head. If you've missed any of the action, we're gonna have a quick look back at the replays whilst we get ready for the next round, which I believe is gonna be leaving us with 128 players left.
Yep. And Boaty versus Slaver Juggies, that was his opposition in Fools. And again, like I said before, the guy was just way too tanky, had too much gear. Adam had a few chances, some nice specs, wasn't able to take it. Skill specs falling to a superior opponent, 16 combat levels higher with better gear as well. Very unfortunate for Jay, but I'm sure that Skill Specs is very happy they made it this far into the 1v1s too. Just nice to be there, really. And it shows that next time they can definitely get there again. Other things to mention as well, I saw a lot of the teams actually not actually utilizing magic at all. This guy, Hash Fools, he had the Ballista and the Status Warhammer. Way more PvP weapons than I thought I'd see. Nose Peg Man falling to Kimmerin. A lot of Blaze people, a lot of Fools as well in this final, despite them losing half their members in the multi-stage.
Well, I think the great thing about PvP weapons is because the fact that they can drop from any NPC within the wilderness. There were a lot of fears last tournament when they were added that they would just be too ridiculously hard to get, that the areas would be locked down. But the wilderness is a pretty big place, and there's a lot of NPCs in there. So trying to keep down that one area, it's not that easy.
I was actually looking at the statistics earlier of how many PvP weapons were actually in the game, and I was shown by Alistair, I believe. Shout out to Alistair for giving us a bunch of information. I think it was 50 or so of each of the weapons, and then like, you know, the VLS, the Stat Warhammer, and about 30 or so staffs, which was updated yesterday or early this morning. So again, way more than I thought there'd be, which means that we're going to see from now onwards, every single person, we just have to assume, has got a PvP weapon. If they haven't got one, they might be able to defeat someone and grab their item to make it through and excel with it.
For sure. Really interested to see what's going to be happening when we get through to this next round now. The thing that you mentioned, I believe, earlier on in the tournament is that we were saying how we get to the 1v1s, okay, and there's 2, 5, 6 people. It's a lot more than before. There's a lot of weaker players in there.
Definitely.
But once you get through to the next round, you start to you start to weed out the noobs, so to speak. So as they're falling,
Adam is looking at us like, oh, what? How dare you?
sorry, Boaty, but you are officially a noob now. Commiserations. But I'm sure that you'll do better in the next one. If not, maybe in the next PvP tournament.
There's no harm in falling to a Fools.
No,
like
of course.
It was very respectful too. You know, the GF Fools, # respect from Finland. I can respect that. You know, they're very honourable clan, which is really good to see as well.
Okay, we just had news. We're going to head over to a short break whilst we just get a few little things sorted out, and we'll be back with you as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Deadman Winter Finals. I want to just do a quick apology to everyone there at home that has probably realized that the stream went offline for a little while. Unfortunately, we were experiencing some technical difficulties. Not entirely sure of what happened there. Seems like a problem with the streaming platform. However, we are back now, and most importantly, we're going to be heading into the next round of the 1v1 finals pretty soon. Until then, however, we do have some replays of some of the fights that you might have missed. So, apologies again for that little bit of a delay where we weren't able to be live for you, but we do have all of the action here for you to see yet again. This here was the fight that we saw Boaty against Slay for Juggies. Fools member who was extremely stacked, had really huge amounts of gear. That was when skill specs fell. Unfortunate for him again. He was pretty low leveled against someone who had just much more gear than him. Boaty with no supplies left against 4 brews for Slay for Juggies, and there's absolutely no chance that he stood there. And you can see Slay for Juggies knew that as well, showing out the respect.
Yeah,
and,
very fortunate for him. I mean, the
little
DFS,
shout out for Fools.
The Ring of Suffering, you can't really defeat that.
No.
It's just too much for Adam. It's very unfortunate they got that in his first fight as well. We saw a few other lower levels falling. Unfortunately for Adam, he didn't get that fight himself. And apart from that, yeah, Boaty fell in the first phase. We had Fool's Justice on stage as well. Fool just before, I think he said to me a minute ago, 2 people stood between him and getting into that final.
Oh,
so
no.
that's really, really bad luck.
Feels bad, man.
I know, and then we still, and then we still have ORPG, Curtis on the stage as well with us, Manked as well, both representing different teams. And I think right now one of the favourites to win actually in this entire tournament is going to be Manked, who is currently 15-0 from the All-Stars and currently 1-0 from this tournament as well.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job. So if you weren't aware, the players that we have available? The players that have made it through, get your words right, Ayuza, are Manked and MMORPG. Both made it through to the next round, which is the 1-2-8. 64 fights are going to be happening within that. A thing that we touched on a little bit earlier in the tournament, you probably missed it, we were commentating it to our lovely audience here and they gave us a little chuckle, hopefully you guys have a chuckle back home too, is that the first round of this 1v1 section, especially when there's 256 players, really just helps weed out the noobs. Think about who has fallen. I mean, Fool's Justice fell before the 1v1 stage, so, I mean, you see a noob? I mean, maybe not, but Boaty fell in the 1v1.
Oh man, to be fair, he fell to a Fools member who was very, very respectful as well, chucking up the hashtag Fools and saying thanks for the fight, you know, respect from Finland. So we can't be unhappy about that one. If you're gonna fall to anyone, if it's a Fool member,
it may as well be someone
excuse, isn't it, you know?
who is very strong and well. And it's all in good jest. At the end of the day, I would not even be able to make it into the point where I'm in. Well,
Adam beat me and knocked me out of the PvP All-Stars a couple of weeks ago, so I can't really talk any smack on him either.
The beauty of us being able to sit here on the couches, though, Pure Spam, we are technically considered the experts. Whether or not you believe that is up to you. But we can believe it ourselves.
And let's jump right into the action right now. A juicy little VLS coming in from Juicy Apple, and we got Mizio. I don't know if I pronounced that right. That is Manked right now on the stage, coming through the Dragon Crossbow, the Fury, the Infinity Boots, the DFS, the VLS. The guy's absolutely got insane gear at the moment. He's also got an imbued heart in his inventory. Now, using that imbued heart at the start of the fight gets you to, I believe, 109.
49 hit with the VLS, not even a spec. He's against the Fools member, I believe, here.
Juicy Apple, yeah, and Juicy Apple's looking real strong as well.
Hold on, sorry to interrupt you, Ian. Apparently, this is Fool's Iomeri, Fool's leader.
The leader of Fools. And he's
Manked against the leader of
Fools.
Fools.
He's using a tank range setup. A lot of people agree that Fools Iomeri isn't exactly the best 1v1er. He is very, very strong in his own right, but so is Manked. And Manked has the favourable advantage to say in this fight at the moment too. Looks like Juicy Apple or Iomeri currently has Vengeance too. And there we go. We see it coming in from Manked, reminding himself he needs to use that imbued heart, getting up to what, 109 or 111 or something like that, mage bonus.
Really going to help him that extra accuracy.
Yeah, definitely. When you need to catch those freezes versus someone that's got, you know, the Carol's top and the gear that his opponent does, it's really crucial catching those freezes. But even if he catches a freeze, is that even worth doing right now? Look how many splashes he's getting. Not only that,
he's just taken so much damage in that time as well.
And his opponent has Mithril Seeds anyway, so even if you do freeze him,
you're not going to get the standard.
Why is he still going for the freeze right now? I'm not sure that's the best decision to make. And look at the inventory setups at the moment too. Iomeri has quite the advantage. Mank did not anticipate this happening. And even through the range right now, just getting destroyed. A 36 VLS whack as well. And a poke, only a 14 spec, could have been much higher. Now Mank needs to keep his cool, catch that freeze, or at the very least, just get back into the fight, man.
So really, yeah, really interestingly here as well, let's have a look at the difference in special attack percentage. Iomeri has kept himself at 30%. Iomeri here being Juicy Apple. Try and keep them by the names that they have here so we don't get too confused. But Maisie, a.k.a. Manked, on the left, as you can see, running low on supplies, has only just used a special attack. He really needs to sink those those down because it does regenerate as the fight carries on going.
Yeah, definitely. And he's actually out of Super Combats right now too. Let's fly on over to MMO and get back into this fight in just a moment. It's really neck and neck here between these two players.
Oh, it was a 56 from Manx as well. Here we go. MMORPG is going to finish this fight up. His opponent is out. MMORPG has absolutely decimated him.
Oh, the spec, the disrespect right at the end. 38.
He ate one shot.
Food. Yeah, literally. Now back to the Manx fight versus the leader of Fools, Juicy Apple on the right. And Apple, actually, he's turned it round, Manx, somehow. Even though he getting hit so much damage at the start, it's now 2 Sharks versus 3.
I think it was those VLS hits, you know.
It must have been. He has no spec left now, and obviously those VLS so accurate. We missed all they were.
There it is, a 50.
That wasn't even a spec either. Yeah, that's awful.
That's what happens. He is also, though, don't forget, he's in magic robes with protect from range. We've talked so many times so far about how important having the right armor is. Those defenses were just not there when that hit came in.
Might actually fall right now to someone in range tank gear, not even utilizing. No way, the 53. Oh man, Fools, he says, or
faux poles.
He got a bit excited there, killing Manx, one of the favourites to win. Manx unfortunately falling, but a massive applause from the audience. He made it this far. He's done very, very well. And I have Solo Mission versus Ollie. Now, Solo Mission is a content creator. He also has 2 food advantage versus opponent who has the DFS, the ACB. Solo Mission only has a rune crossbow and a crystal shield. So he's able to kill his opponent right now. He gets the VLS. He gets all of those upgrades. And he's going to be having a great advantage going into the final. He's also got Vengeance at the moment. So does his opponent. He might actually win this. And his opponent has such great gear. ACB, like I said before, probably a Fools member.
Yeah, so we have Solo Mission with Blazers, and Olitzi actually is a Fools member. You are correct. Yep. I think we were told that they managed to lock down Godwall's Dungeon for a real long time.
Yeah.
And this is what, like the 3rd ACB we've seen so far?
Yeah, I believe they have the only ACBs in the game. They have 4 or 5 of them, and only one other team actually managed to get one out of there. Unfortunately, I believe it was Tartar. They got 1 ACB and 12 Sara swords.
Yeah.
Well, Solo Mission now, actually. Unfortunately for him, he's being destroyed out of nowhere, and it looks like the Fools member is going to have a significant advantage. But we've seen this before happen. We could come back from Solo Mission, but with the Vengeance up right now, he's got hit really low.
What's going to happen on this hit? The last few hits, could it be that they both end up dying?
I mean,
no, there you have it. Fools member manages to go through as well.
Again, so much respect from Fools. You know, the hashtag Fools going up. Love you, bro. I can really appreciate that sense of competition.
Well, one of the things, I think this fight's pretty much going to be, it's gone down. Purple Dot PK, pretty good job of taking down his opponent.
And also upgrading his gear as well. And I believe that's...
that was Foe.
That was Foe. That was Iron Fox in Finnish, I believe, is what he's changed his name to.
So one point I want to just quickly mention. We have a look at this fight. I'm pretty sure you can see what's going to happen. He's throwing those Morrigan's axes, but Fools showing the respect. We've seen a lot of players...
Is that a Chinchompa pet? Sorry.
It is. It's the golden Chinchompa.
So cute.
We've seen a lot of players in clans that have left alliances that used to be really strong within Deadman purely because of the way that those clans would act. And we're now seeing almost like a resurgence of clans actually being nice, working with one another, being very cooperative, and just showing that utmost respect. You've got to remember, Jagex are going out of their way to put these tournaments together, and if the clans want to participate, they need to make sure that they're playing by the rules as well. And it really seems like Fools especially are showing that they are able to do that. And a lot of other people out there, there's been so much kind of like
both players
coming together.
Definitely. Both players right now have actually brewed their stats down all the way, getting hit by the fog. But somehow the whip goes through. Hits like a 26 spec, another 26 and a 22 to finish. That guy making it through his Granite Shield. We also have, oh no, the Abyssal Dagger is gone, but Kim might decide to use it, upgrade his whip as well. Tom CX versus Dopa, both again neck and neck. A lot of these fights come right down to the wire, Ben, to the wire.
This guy's got a shock. Don't forget you've got a shock. Please eat it.
Oh no,
please eat it.
Does he not realise?
Oh my, please.
Is he not going to eat a shot?
Oh my, he finally ate it.
I mean, he's out of food at the moment though. And
I nearly fell off my chair.
The fog's going to slowly bring him down. Maybe he gets a bigger hit here. He needs to finish him off. Whoever gets the first hit in here, both players not protecting, and
there we have it. Tom
takes
CX manages to take out Dopa.
And he gets himself actually a little bit of an advantage there, having the gear upgrade too. We're now through to 64 players left in this finale. Very unfortunate for Max being eliminated this early on.
Yeah, and the only person from the on-stage players that is left alive is MMORPG. Is Mod Archie going to become a god and have predicted almost the impossible?
Maybe, man, maybe. I mean, I'm just so surprised that, Io Meri did so well there to be one of the undisputed, one of the best players in the game. And now, obviously, Io Meri's got a lot of clan experience. He's been leading clans, been solo PKing for many years. Now, I said earlier that I didn't think he was really up to scratch compared to a lot of them, but clearly showing that I'm very wrong there. So apologies, Fools. Io Meri, your leader, maybe gonna win the whole tournament for you. You never know. I'm liking his tank setup, having really high defensive bonuses, utilizing the Vengeance, and those Mithril Seeds is something that's so important to bring in. manked. I believe he would have won that if it wasn't for Mithril Seeds, but being able to just, you know, step underneath and be able to, you know, use those Mithril Seeds to walk away slightly, it gave him the upper hand, plus a few beautiful fakies coming in from Juicy Apple, aka Eomeri, Fool's leader, and a few retaliations from him as well.
You can just see that VLS damage was just coming out.
That's what it comes down to.
And I think if maybe Manked had not chose to use magic so much and get all those splashes and had just opted to use ranged melee against his opponent, maybe the fight would have went a little bit different.
But he splashed so much, very unfortunate for him. And we saw as well there, Curtis going through with a full inventory of supplies.
Yeah,
with
he
one
absolutely smashed his opponent down. Talking about others, actually, Curtis might be the only person we have on stage, but he's not the only content creator that's got through. We've had word that both Torvesta and Alfie have managed to get through to the next round. So
Alfie,
that's going to be very interesting.
One to watch as well. I believe Alfie finished off Dragon Slayer 2, which requires 200 quest points. In a few days, went over to the Rune Dragons to try and farm
knows how to put the hours in, doesn't he?
He really does. And he's got himself a Dragon Crossbow, I believe, with a DFS as well, potentially. So he's going to be probably a really strong tank account as well. I'm not sure if he's on DT, he's going to be rocking the Arums. But maybe next fight we can have a little look at his fights too and find out exactly how he's doing and what gear he's opted for. Who would you say is the favourable for you to win at this point, Ben?
There's been so many people that have got through that I thought wouldn't, and so many people that haven't got through that I thought would. It's so difficult to say. I think just purely because of the fact that he's here in person on stage, I have to be now rooting for MMORPG.
Yeah.
Looking at his last fight as well, we didn't get to catch most of it, but we saw at the very end he ate one food.
Literally.
So either this guy's an absolute god at PKing again all of a sudden, or his opponent was less favourable. We're about to find out. We have MMORPG going up against I'm So Far Behind. You are most certainly far behind MMORPG. He has such a higher combat level on you. That's probably going to help huge amounts when it goes into this fight, especially with the way that, again, defenses work. They come through off your stats, accuracy, off your, your attack, and you max it off your strength.
Yeah, it definitely helps. But as another important thing to say, actually, about their gear setups, Curtis has the full Arim, but I'm So Far behind.
Full, excuse me?
Arim. But I'm So Far behind has the Mystic Robe Sword, which has quite a lot less, but the 43 status Warhammer, draining MMORPG's defense level, making him, utilize those brews and those restores a bit earlier than he had to. If you remember, there's another one coming in on the right prey, again, a 37, and right now I'm So Far Behind has a big lead. Oh my god, a 37. Another one on the right prey. Could have actually KO'd Curtis there. Curtis needs to keep calm and grab that free as best he can, because once the pressure starts to set in, once I'm So Far Behind starts hitting like a truck, it's very hard for him to come back in time. So there's a splash here from Curtis. Can he catch another one? He's caught the freeze. Can he get the step under? He can. Now it's time for him to change the momentum, the pace of the fight, get back into it.
You can see now, however, though, unfortunate for him, he's not done very good potion management. He has a full Sourdough in brew, but has just used his combat and range potion.
Oh, that's so unlucky too. He hits a 0 on robes with the status Warhammer.
And the right prayer as well.
Yeah, man. That's just very unfortunate there. He really should have hit that freeze again, and just hitting zeros, and that is just RNG. You never know who's going to take the fight. Sometimes you roll little numbers, sometimes you get a bit lucky. Obviously, over time, the more damage you're going to deal. You've got to just, utilize those range more, I think. He's using a lot of magic, which, in this game mode, even with the Zuriel Staff, isn't your biggest DPS. It's really used as a way to freeze your opponents most of the time, unless they're in their low defense bonus armor. And again, another status Warhammer.
Oh, that was not too bad. I just said, the typical.
I know, right? He got his prep just in time though, which minimizes the damage. Only to hit a 13 on him, but Curtis is almost out of food right now. He's catched the step under, and make sure he's dominating a little better. I'm not seeing him use many of the blood barrages either, which heal your HP. But he's being caught first. Managed to catch another freeze back.
Is this going to be it for him now? He really needs to start eating up, get that combo food in.
Look at the inventory differences. I don't think he's able to come back right now. I think from the start, I'm So behind. He managed to get himself, what was it, like a 30-something, another 30-something status Warhammer hit, plus then a bunch of bolts as well. And once you start losing down that kind of food, you lose confidence in yourself. And as mentioned as well, I'm So Far Behind has the Morrigans, Javelins too. Not seen him utilize them very much yet, but you could potentially use them as well to try and get some big hits on Curtis. Curtis now, almost out of food, has a couple of brews left, but no super combats, no range potions, which means when he does brew down, he won't have that extra damage increase like I'm So Far Behind does. And again, exchanging hits, unfortunately taking way too much damage at the moment, and he decides not to use the brews.
This could be it for him now. MMORPG. Is he going to fall? I don't think there's much that you can do to bring this back in his favor, but hey, stranger things have happened. We're just have to wait and see, really. I don't think he has any chance
too far gone at this point.
here.
I mean, he's got 60 spec left. You should definitely utilize that at some point. You might get a lucky 50-plus status Warhammer, which could turn the tide. And I won't put it past Curtis, man. Anything can happen in these fights. I'm So Far Behind now, having 4 sharks, 2 crown ones left, and a full brew, though. It might be just a little bit too much to hit. But Curtis, sticking with it, trying to keep himself in the fight as best he can, getting frozen, but still retaliating for 31 as well. The whip hits coming in, too, from that tentacle whip, trying to poison his opponent, but the Sandfew, of course, being able to take up that prayer.
I believe So far, almost every, if not only 2 or so casts from I'm so far behind even, have actually splashed. He's managed to catch all of those freezes.
Really?
Whereas MMORPG has had a little less luck there, unfortunate for him, especially when he has the combat advantage. You would have thought he came into this in a much better position, but maybe it's just coming down to the fact that, you know, I'm so far behind is a more experienced PKer. MMORPG, though, still isn't out, and that's it. Unfortunately, the 28 bolt straight to the heart.
Hashtag lockdown.
And that is the end of our content creators on stage in the tournament, but it's not the end of our content creators in the...
Is S-Engineer C-Engineer, I want?
Maybe. I'll...
Potentially. 2 absolute titans right now, 119 combat, 122 combat, fighting each other at the moment. And S-Engineer's actually done. He's done DS2. He's got the Avers 2 that you get from killing Vorkath, so that's helped quite a lot. Staff bashing, though, can't be staff bashing at a time like this. He's 81 hit points of a Chrome left. That's 99 altogether versus Kev's 102 HP. So it's neck and neck right now between these 2 absolute behemoths of the tournament. But can Engineer,
really
there
nice
we go, the 40
S-Engineer.
on the right prayer.
Also,
Kev dropping his for a second as well.
Take note of how much prayer they have left. S-Engineer still has 3 doses left. So S-Engineer, who we've had information to say is actually Alfie.
That's Alfie.
Yep, pretending to be C-Engineer's brother. Fair enough. I mean, if it's going to work.
Oh, look at that
really
freeze
nice
catching in as
33.
well.
A vengeance coming in from Kev, but I think that Alfie
mate, absolute machine. The 47 VLS.
There we go.
Goes to show, man. It's nice to see a proper tribal rather, beating someone with vengeance. In the past, we've seen Eomeri taking out Manx as well. Right now, we have 2 PKs left. Best PKer.
Oh, you're not so good now, are you? You just
the VLS.
taken down by Eomeri.
Again, so
it wasn't
close.
Eomeri, was it? It's someone else.
I don't think that's Eomeri.
The names
right
are so similar. Tom CX against Walk Away. Walk Away is doing a good job.
Oh, look at his inventory. Look at the plays.
He's just punching him in the head.
The disrespect running round. Getting the vengeances as well. 19, was that a 19 punch? No way. Oh dear, faking out the swaps. Gets the win there, nice and easy for him. Looking at Krikshire versus My Ear Hurts, who's probably hearing my commentary right now. Oh, god darn it, Ian. Anyway, so My Ear Hurts having 1 shark versus opponent. He's also got some Ring of Recoils that are noted in case he gets lucky enough to get himself a Ring of Suffering. Really smart strategy, but is he down 1 food as a result? I'm not too sure on that one. I think he's got the same food. Now, Krikshire, having quite a bit of inventory space is, sorry, a bit more HP. 20 HP lead. Did he get spec on the right prayer?
That was a nice hit.
That could have been a KO so easily.
It's going to be these last few hits that's going to make it.
No way!
Please don't tell me someone's going to die to the fog instead. He comes through.
So close.
I sounded like a gecko eating a fly.
I'm surprised they didn't actually put on their redemption prayer. They put a prayer right at the end. They have no overheads on.
I don't know what just happened there.
That was so close.
I just choked. I choked completely. That was incredible.
Imagine making it through by like the skin of your teeth, just like that 2 hit points.
The panic on them. They would have just been there like, no, you die. No, I don't want to die.
Ridiculous, man. I'm so happy for Alfie as well, one of our few content creators that are left in this tournament. We now have, is it 32 people left?
32 people, yeah. We're going into the next round. So I'm going to have to be, be a little bit ignorant here and have a look at who we have in terms of content creators that are through. But I believe that's for the last round, so I might hold off for now.
That's fine. Well, Alfie, like we said before,
going into that. Sorry, go on ahead.
I was going to say Alfie doing DS2, making sure, showing that, having that Avers accumulator number 2, that making a little bit of difference and showing that he's such a good hybrid, man. I didn't realize he was actually.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how it goes in the next round.
He beat me 2-0 in the All-Stars as well. So yeah, he's proven himself time and time again. He beat lots of people actually, and he's doing really, really well. Those step unders, that Zuriel staff being fed with a VLS as well from his clan, a DFS that he got as well from doing Rune Dragons, I believe too. He's absolutely swamping it right now, and he's got himself some actual gear upgrades too. So I think Alfie could go really far at the moment.
He does seem to have a really good chance, and he's done a very good job so far. I'm probably going to root for Alfie after seeing his last fights.
The question is, though, can he beat Eomeri, who took on Manx with the tribal setup? That is the question. We've got a few replays right now of Curtis, unfortunately, falling in this finale. I believe the start of that, he just got very unfortunate. I'm so far behind, getting a 43 spec into another 37 spec. And at that point, and that's like 4 food used up already, and it's just so hard to come back at that point. He did a really good job of doing so, though, saving the fight, didn't give up, but I'm so far behind, getting a few gear upgrades and making it through. We saw S-Engineer, who is Alfie, as we spoke about before, one of the content creators, finish his opponent with a 47 VLS, absolutely huge. That VLS, look at it go, man. It swipes so well and just hits so much damage, man.
Well, there's a nice clap from me. Good job. We look so enthusiastic because we absolutely love Deadman. This is the fight where I completely choked, forgot how to speak, didn't know what happened, but My Ear Hurts managed to get through. We've had information.
Literally 3 hit points left.
Literally. So, interestingly, Torvesta also made it through.
Really? Who's he?
Oh, just some dude that makes YouTube videos that you play at 1.5 speed.
I meant, what's his RS?
Oh, okay. Well, now I just look like a bit of a
I watch all of Alex's videos. Great content creator, man.
He is, and I can't wait to see his actual final video as well. He always does a good job.
Has he actually made it to the finals before? I don't know how far he's got. No, he's got to the top 16 once.
He has. We're now in the final 32.
Yeah.
In terms of the final 32, clan representation. Blazers, 8 members.
Okay.
Tartar, 8 members. And Fools with 5.
Really?
That's all the information we have so far.
And then the other members might be like solo members or people that have not really stuck within their CC because they've seen us looking at them now and they're like, oh, we don't want to be sniped out.
I also have information as to notable names / content creators that have got through. We have Alfie Rules, which we saw. Ian Mary has also made it through. Torvesta. And Fools Kembo.
Fools Kembo's still in it as well. Wow.
One of the best PKs from Fools.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen him streaming throughout the week, absolutely dominating from day 2, day 3. Him and Justice were both fed by Fools. That was their plan throughout. They wanted to give these guys the best gear possible. They've been grinding out God Wars Dungeon. They've been grinding out all kinds of things, giving them all the weapons in game. The Ring of Suffering, some of the demonic gorillas, like we said before. What are you giggling at right there? What have you just seen?
I just had information of everyone's names that have been updated in game. Okay, so I can tell you who Torvesta is.
Fantastic.
His name is XUSCEPSLLIKS, or if you were to read that backwards, Skill Spec Sucks.
Oh man, that absolute disrespect, especially when Jay's actually gone out in the first round as well, bless him.
All right, Torvesta, I believe that we're going to get our lovely J-Mod team to give you a permanent name for the next year of Fluffy Bunny.
Definitely, man.
Enjoy.
Oh dear, that feud just constantly goes on. It's one of the best drama that we see on.
It really is.
On Twitch.tv and such.
Names to look out for, guys back at home and those in the audience. S-Engineer is Alfie Rules, Juicy Apple being Ian Mary, Disqualifier is Fools Kembo, and XUS is Torvesta. Here we go, the round of 32. It looks like we're going to be looking at Torvesta up against Luco Taco.
Wow, Torvesta's 120 combat. He's gone really hard this week, especially mentioning in his videos that he's been taking it nice and easy and not trying to play 20 hours a day, but still proving that you can make it to the top tier and right at the end. But getting hit at 19 Warhammer Smack by Luco, which reduces defense level, but trying to use 2, and one of them actually getting 0. And look at that gear that Luco has. Must be a Fool's member. Must be. He's got the Armadillo bottoms on, which have insane mage defense bonuses. So him catching the freezes, Torvesta trying to catch them is going to be very difficult. We saw Manx versus Ian Mary. Same thing happened. He just couldn't go through. 42
whack off there as well.
Oh,
the damage just came through. Nice combo eat there from Torvesta. Really interested in terms of their different supplies here. You can see, the Luco Taco has opted for a tank setup. Torvesta going in for the Tribrid. He's managed to bring himself via less. He's also got, the Zoriel's staff and the Warhammer as well.
He finally catches a freeze, but remembering that every time he deals damage, every 30 seconds, Luco gets that Vengeance that comes up again, which deals a portion of damage right back onto his opponent. Now, if Torvesta takes a bit too long to hit those big hits with the VLS and such, sits underneath on too long, then that Vengeance is going to come up, and that's going to slowly dwindle away his supplies as well. Looking at food situations right now as well, I think it's about somewhat even, but Luco having that huge advantage again, that massive opener with the Status Warhammer. But, nice from Torvesta hitting a 31 VLS, and he's going to get that freeze again. He's going to go for it. He's going to be like, whatever, I can't catch these freezes. He's managed to catch the freeze, Ben.
Information coming through. Luco Taco is actually representing Tartar, so it's Torvesta up against Tartar.
Oh, wow, I wonder if he actually got those himself, or if he managed to grab them from maybe a Fool's member that he defeated in 1-versus-1 rounds prior to this one.
Yeah, well, we've not seen the fights that they've been a part of, so it is very, very likely that he ended up killing a Fool's member to grab a hold of that gear. It's just fascinating to see how much, high-level equipment they actually get a hold of. The DFS, a lot of people seem to have that this time around, and obviously the Armadillo chain skirt, absolutely insane. We're going to have a quick jump over to Alfie Rules fight now. Alfie is going up against Buhar Jar.
And again, using those fakies and stuff, trying to fool his opponent, is praying the wrong thing. Now, obviously, overhead press, like before, they reduce damage by 40%, so making sure you've got the right one up at the right time, as well as focusing your switches, making sure your opponent doesn't have the right overhead up for you, is really, really, the most important thing in these fights. And essentially right now, Alfie himself has actually a big advantage in food versus Forbu.
He's really got something to show now after his unfortunate end at the All-Stars tournament. Looks like he's coming back with a vengeance. A nice 33 hit there from the Vestas Longsword. He really is. He's got literally 2 Sharks and a full Sourdough in Brew, plus 2 Crown Brands against nothing.
And again, gear setup. Before we had a DFS, actually, but he doesn't have a DFS. Apologies for that, Alfie.
The Crystal Shield.
He does have the Crystal Shield, which he quested for, of course. And that Dragon Crossbow and the Avas obviously making a huge difference as it ranges one of your most biggest DPS hits. Apart from that VLS, of course. If you get lucky enough, you can hit 60s and such.
Well, you've seen that. However, Buhar Jar is doing a very good job of staying in this fight, considering the fact that he has absolutely no food left. You can see Alfie is constantly dealing damage back. I believe he has a Ring of Suffering.
He does have a Ring of Suffering, which again makes a huge difference, gives you a few food advantage because every damage the opponent deals gets a little bit of recoil effect back again. Alfie catching that freeze, stepping underneath, trying to whack with the VLS as best he can. And I think that's the best thing for you to do, really, is to fakey out those hits, make sure you've got the VLS all the time. And Alfie should be eating here. Oh, he could have actually died on 29 hit points to a bolt.
Oh, there we go, full HP.
I don't know why he wouldn't eat there. Still.
All right, good job. Alfie's managed to make it through.
That could have been a really terrible decision to make.
Now we're looking at Torvesta up against Tartar Member. He is no food. Tartar Member has 2 sharks left. It looks like this might be the end of Torvesta's run in this tournament.
It's unfortunate, man. I think that actually his opponent might have a Suffering as well. Yeah, he does. His opponent has a Suffering, which has made it almost impossible for him to win this fight. But he's almost managed to come back. But with 7 HP now, he's got to put up the Heart Prayer. Why is he not using Redemption? If he uses Redemption, he could be able to stay in the fight a little bit longer.
Unfortunate for him.
Doesn't matter. 16 KOs him, and unfortunately, Torvesta falls just short of his top position in previous tournaments.
Yeah, a lot of players really showing how strong the tank setup can be, especially with the unfortunate amount of times that you can splash. However, if it does end up working out for you, you can dish out a huge amount of damage. Now we're looking at DL Whale against Kariestic.
Again, two range tanks pretty much. Look at the guy on the left, DL Well. He's got himself the Armadillo trousers, the Armadillo leg as well, the DFS, the Drang Crossbow. I think it is a guy from DL as well, by the looks of things. DL are part of the ODB Alliance, so it's
I don't believe it's someone from DL. I think it's actually a member of Fools and the other
Really? Well, that wouldn't surprise me either, you know, flaming out the opposition and such.
We were talking about respect, unfortunately, that they've done that now. But it looks like DL Whale has actually flopped. They indeed did put the right name on.
Look at their gear as well. The guy had an AGS in his inventory as well. We might have Porcupine Man versus
actually made it through there, you know.
That would not surprise me. Walk away with the Lunar Rings. He's using Lunas. He's got a ZGS too. Obviously, ZGS special attack, freezing your opponent in place, as well as a massive hit to be able to do a lot of damage. But Porcupine Man having a slight advantage, having the Tribrid. Maybe if he can get some freezes right now. Porcupine also with that huge defense bonus. He's got the DFS. He's got himself the staff as well to catch his opponents very, very easily.
Porcupine here is representing Tartar, and you can see Walkaway actually has a ring of recoil, and he's swapping that into a separate ring. I can't quite figure out what it is from the inventory model.
It's a Lunar Ring, I believe,
a Lunar Ring.
Right?
Okay, so he's probably potentially using that
Slight bit of magic bonuses to catch those freezes, quite important as well. Although he's not switching at the moment. But Walkaway now out of food, sitting on 26 hit points. Porcupine in the lead, using those VLS. He's got a spec out, hitting a 0 on the right prayer. Very unfortunate for him. But Walkaway still has a spec. Will he utilize it? He doesn't have a special attack to really use. He's got the VLS. He could go for it right now. I don't know why he's not going for it. But looks like Porcupine probably going to win this one. And the 21, he does indeed take it.
Congratulations to him. A lot of tanks in that round.
Yeah, man, more than I'd expect to see, to be honest. I believe it's the PvP weapons. That VLS is just incredibly accurate. If you can fake out your opponent and get a few hits off, you don't need to catch your opponent's freeze. You don't have to go for those kind of hits. You hit a 50 and you basically won the fight.
Well, yeah, 50 when you're limited to, is it like 20 sharks?
13
it's 2.5 sharks.
Yeah, 13 sharks.
13 sharks,
and
2 crams.
A couple brews and such. Yeah. Let's jump back into the replay package and see what we just witnessed there in the top 64. Was that top 32?
Top 32.
Top 32.
So we're going to be moving into the round of 16. After this
one, yeah.
That was a really nice 42, just smacked in the head with that hammer.
Really unfortunate. He came
really
so close
much damage.
as well, man. I mean, Torvesta, the guy on the left right now, Zus, could have potentially won that fight. We also saw Alfie here, S-Engineer, going through his phase as well, kitted out with absolute max gear. Got himself a DFS from that as well, I'm pretty sure. And Torvesta, unfortunately, just falling short against his opponent. That suffering just makes a huge difference. Again, Porcupine Man, no surprise there. The DFS, the VLS combo. Just goes to show this week, they start from scratch, as I said before. Level 3 accounts, new economy, fresh server. You have a week to get the best gear possible. And a lot of these clans have really focused on, getting those signature items. The DFS is a huge tank bonus. The Barrow's gear, of course, is a staple. Some clans, like Fools, have gone all the way to God Wars Dungeon
and managed
to try and farm themselves. Yeah, the Armadillo crossbow.
It does look how they've managed to get that over to the hands of their opponents, though, at times. So, something to be very cautious of.
If Torvesta didn't go up against that guy with the suffering and stuff, the Tartar member who managed to get himself an item maybe from a Fools member, it could have been a very different story for him. So.
Okay, so if you do want to get involved on Twitter, make sure you use #DeadmanWinter. Also follow @OSRSPVP to stay in touch with all of the information regarding the tournament, anything that might come out in terms of like what's been going on to this point, journey of separate players, or if there's things that have been going on in terms of like difficulties, we'll also post it in there. Just had some information to come through that may suggest that Alfie has actually got a buy on this round, because it seems that his opponent has decided to log out.
Really?
So we'll get some
32.
Yeah, get a little bit more confirmation on that in a little while. But if that's the case, it's the case. Congratulations to him, and he'll be moving through. But that round there, I'm very interested. I mentioned about how there's so many people with tank setups. I'm wondering if there's anyone left that's going to be using non-tank. Otherwise, it's really going to come down to who can get the the nice hits with the VLS.
Well, I mean,
the defense reduction, sorry, with the Warhammer, and just really how much is going to come through from Vengeance hits.
Well, the benefit of having the Tribrid style is that you've got 3 different styles. You've got to protect yourself from range, mage, and melee. Now, if you're a very good, competent hybrid of just having 2 styles using range and melee, and you can fakey accordingly, and still you're at a really strong advantage. You haven't got to worry so much about having to catch those freezes, and which can sometimes splash constantly, which is so frustrating, as we've seen from Max earlier when he was fighting up against the Fool's leader, Eomeri.
It really must be as well when you're just sitting there and there's nothing that you can do apart from just keep on trying, and it just doesn't work out for you. 2 seconds left. Here we are heading into the final 16 players of the Winter 18 Deadman tournament. There you can see it. Alfie is just going to be chilling in this this little round, watching his opponents. Juicy Apple against
huge spec off the bat. Yeah, Juicy Apple, as we know, is Fool's Eomeri, the leader of the Finnish squad, and he's kitted up in absolute max gear. He's got the ACB, the VLS, trying to fake out his opponent, and his opponent utilizing a very similar strategy as well. But his opponent also has the Imbued Heart. Not going to make much of a difference. He's not got magic against his opponent. Obviously, having higher magic level means higher magic defense too. But as I said before, Juicy does not have any magic equipment. So gear versus gear right now, I mean, it's pretty even. I would say, though, that Juicy Apple has a slight advantage as the VLS does trump the Statius Warhammer. And if Juicy Apple does win this fight, he's going to be able to get himself an upgrade of the Armadillo legs that his team, Fools, potentially got a bit earlier on as well, which would be brutal for him. 19 spec through the prayer, looking at both players at special attack right now. Characteristic, still don't use a single special attack. He needs to utilize them soon because he's only got 1 super combat dose left. If he doesn't use that super combat dose and use those specs up nice and early, it means that he's not going to have one.
Yeah, at this point, it's just wasted damage potential. Yeah. Even if it's just a case of using it on the wrong prayer, you want to at least try and get 1 out. If you were to use the Warhammer on the wrong prayer, it's still going to get that damage reduction, the defense reduction.
And he's just used the super combat right now, so it means he's going to go for one, hopefully, very shortly, but still just like hitting with it and just trying to make sure his opponent's faking out. But Juicy Apple keeping prey melee up the whole time, pretty much. Interesting. And a 0, there it comes in finally, but nothing really there.
Nothing really comes of it. So, yeah, a little bit of back and forth here, a bit of a stalemate. Both players opt in, obviously, don't...
Oh, he's got an AGS? I didn't see that. How did I miss the AGS?
Neither did I. Maybe that's some incredible gear.
Maybe that's why he's used the stat Warhammer beforehand to, like, fake him, make him think that he's only got that. Maybe that's the reason why Emira was camping Prime melee too, because he realized his opponent's got the AGS, doesn't want to fall to a 73, potentially, at this stage of the tournament. Sorry, mate. Had to, especially after Chris's earlier. But right now, Juicy Apple on around 7
Oh, that was a really nice hit there with that bolt, the spec coming through. Normally, Ian, that is something that you will shout and scream about. A 45 with that crossbow.
Mate, I was looking at my inventory right now. I love those crossbow hits. And the 37 spec as well for Juicy Apple. He's got 30% spec left, which means he's got 1 special attack still at his opportunity to use. And characteristic only has 25%, which is, again, 1 special attack. Could utilize it, but he's going to wait for the AGS spec to come back.
Juicy Apple knows at this point that his opponent is pretty much going to only be able to use that Warhammer hit, and it's not going to be able to KO him. So as long as he keeps high HP, he's keeping that protect from melee up. Because look at his gear. He's wearing full tank, and he can just sit in melee. He doesn't have to worry so much about ranged. That's why he can camp melee when he needs to.
Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, ACB versus Dragon Bolt, Dragon Crossbow, sorry, and the Dragonstone bolts you see on the floor right now, those things, even through prayer and even through this gear, do an absolutely fantastic amount of damage. 0 for Juicy Apple with the VLS spec coming in there. Very unfortunate for him, but maybe just maybe, he's actually in a lead right now. He's got 6 sharks compared to 4, so characteristic needs to do something special. Getting some big hits in there.
That was a nice
maybe a KO, or potentially the Vengeance combo, but again, quite
Vengeance timing just a little bit off there, unfortunately. I think it was on cooldown. We saw it proc a moment ago in the fight. If he had managed to get it up in time, it would have been incredible to see a Vengeance KO.
KO at this stage of the game, potentially. And right now, another VLS. Could have killed him there. I don't think he has a spec up in time. And characteristic.
AGS whack, but not enough damage in there, especially when you're in full tank and protect from melee. Not really the best time to use it, but hey, you got to use every opportunity that you can find yourself. A nice 34 coming in here from Characteristic, followed by a hit, but it's protect from melee coming up in tank gear, back again for Juicy Apple. Yeah,
Juicy Apple, 3 sharks now in the lead. Characteristic only has 1 left, almost out of food. And also, saying that as well, these weapons, they obviously have the last spec hitting a 0, unfortunately. I was going to say the Dragon Crossbow and the Armadillo Crossbow, both you can 1-tick the special attack from, so you can't see it coming. That could have been a KO, actually, I'm pretty sure. 31 around 70
Protect
HP.
from melee, though, so I think it would have been...
protect melee and something over time. That's very unfortunate for Characteristic. Very fortunate for Fools, though, with their leader taking them through victory. But it is so close at the moment. Juicy Apple has 1 food left. Is he going to risk it? Is he not going to eat it early on? No, he's eating it. Now he has 69 HP versus 38. Double the HP almost for Juicy Apple. And now just a faking competition. Trying to change your weapon from a VLS to the ACB. Trying to trick your opponents, praying the wrong thing and capitalizing on the DPS possible. But it's a game of chance, an RNG game mode. And looks like Characteristic, luckily, he's actually got a few big hits in. The Vengeance coming out for Juicy Apple too. Could this this be potential double death, both having Vengeance at the moment? It's going to be so close. If he gets the next big hit in, he's going to pretty much win this. And this is a battle of really the nerves, keeping calm and collecting another spec. 0, unfortunately for him. Counter has a special attack. Is he going to use it? He has the Status Warhammer.
He manages to get this kill. It could be a nice upgrade for him, getting the DFS over the Crystal Shield as well as the ACB. But I do actually... Oh, no, I'm going to hold off for it. I'm going to tell you just as this fight ends, because this is too entertaining.
Mate, both players right now, it's literally neck and neck. All it comes down to is the next hit. Only a 4 he hits, but it was only a 4 damage splat. And another 5! A 5 could have killed him. Vengeance both players again.
Is going to be it. He's got 9 HP. He can use Redemption.
He can kill himself.
They both have enough.
Oh, he got the Redemption off as well. That's so clutch. And again, 15 HP back down to low.
Might be able to get another one. Oh, no. The 37. Okay, wow. That was an incredible fight. I just want to say, really good props to both of these players, because it seems, by our best knowledge, that they were both Fools members.
Were they?
But they
didn't have a respectful fight.
They
put on a show for everyone at home.
Really just put it out there.
Fantastic.
So it feels like we've been talking a lot about Fools throughout this tournament, and that's not due to anything like favoritism or such like that. It's just that they've really done a fantastic job. They've got so many of their members that have came together. One of the guys on stage as well. You can constantly see the fact that they're from Fools when they mention it in chat as well. And, you know, just a really good job, especially for a clan that came up solo until this final section. However, they're not the only clan that are left in here. Ooh. So as far as I'm aware, I believe that running into that, we had a member from Tartar, Blazers, Fools, a solo player who is HR non-El Colpla, something like that. Player from Execution, another from Tartar, another from Fools, another from Tartar, another from Fools, another from Fools, 2 more from Tartar, 1 from Lit, and then 2 Blazers.
That's
so
awesome, man.
We have 3 Blazers members, only 1 representing Lit, and is that 4 from Tartar, and then the following are Fools, apart from 1 that's from Execution and the other who is a no player.
That the 2-5-6 finale, obviously that multi-stage is all about, you know, picking off the opponent, sniping out the stronger members. But to see every single clan having representatives in the finals, you know, all their hard work hasn't gone for nothing. In the past, we've seen only 128. It's quite hard if a clan gets a hit in multi. They're just not going to make it through really, because everyone's got to pass out until you've got 64 that go through.
Yeah,
so it's really cool to see for every single clan, you know, have representatives in there. And I mean, yeah, we've seen Fools dominating this single stage, but it's not over yet, man. We've seen some Tartar players, too, that took down, I believe it was Torvesta in the last phase. And he just, you know, he was dominating as well. Tartar, really strong solo players, 1v1. So are Blazers as well, who are in here still. And Cutthroat, I believe, had a couple CT you mentioned. And
yeah, there's a few of members in there.
Yeah, Cutthroat as well.
No Cutthroat left.
No Cutthroat left.
No, sorry. But they did a really good job of getting themselves up to the point that they did. And they probably helped their teammates as well. Had in some information come through that Boaty's killer from the previous round was bested by Fools Kembo. So he managed to
got revenge. Adam is very happy there that he's got himself some revenge. He's putting his thumbs up. Oh, friend. Anyway, jumping back into the fight right now.
Oh, brilliant. Here we can see that very long fight between Juicy Apple and Carriastick, both actually Fools members, I believe.
Yep.
And then here a fight that we Porcupine Man.
We did see Alfie as well, one of the content creators, making it through too, which is really happy for him. He's done DS2, been, you know, gaming all week long. 20-hour day sessions, and all come to this point really for that you know, chance at a $20,000 grand prize. Majority of players left right now actually are the range and melee tanks. I believe it's the PvP weapons that make it worthwhile going for that, because if you get someone on the wrong prey and you manage to get them with a massive hit, or the DCB or the ACB, range and melee are the biggest DPSs in the game, and you don't want to like put your chances of the prize money on catching a freeze, which, as you saw, Manx, who was one of the favourites, and he just kept splashing like a fish out of water.
As I said before, a little bit of a Magikarp moment, unfortunate for him. I don't mean to be looking like the ignorant guy who's constantly on his tablet. I do need to get a Night of 5 Slayer by the 10th of January, but it is because I'm looking at some information here. The final 8, as best as we know, seems to be composed of 1 Tartar member, 2 Fools members, we have 3 Blazers members, 1 Lit member, and then a solo player. So I should be able to now say which clan people are a part of. So, looking at this, we have Disqualifier against Demonic Bolt.
I'm pretty sure Disqualifier is Fools Kembo, correct me if I'm wrong. And I believe
Disqualifier is not Fools Kembo, but is part of Fools, and Demonic Bolt is actually part of Blazers.
Blazers, yes, I'm pretty sure that's one of my mates. So good luck to him as well. We have Juicy Apple now. The Fools.
Oh, Disqualifier is Kembo, sorry.
He is Kembo, there we go, yeah. Fools versus Blazers, both friends and both allianced in this finale, now to meet each other to take home that first place prize. We have Juicy Apple, leader of Fools, Iomiri himself fighting DI, or is that DL meant to be? Raccoon.
Which is from Blazers.
Who's from Blazers as well. So again, another Fools versus Blazers matchup. Both players, I'd say that got a similar chance of making it through. It's anyone's game at the moment. It just comes down to, how lucky they get. Right, Juicy Apple at the moment, looking like he's got a few more supplies, though, than DI Raccoon. And Raccoon just, trying to stay in this, get his specs up as best he can. Yep. Both have exactly the same gear. Both opted for full Torag setup with the ACB and the VLS. I mean, it's neck and neck. But I would say one thing about Raccoon is he uses Brew Up already, whereas Juicy Apple still has his.
I mean, that might not be a bad thing, especially when you want to get your boosted stats and have them throughout the fight as long as possible. However, if you do hold on to the brew, you can use those potions later on when it might matter most.
Definitely.
Exactly.
I mean, we saw Avenge Stack earlier coming in. It almost KO'd someone. So having those brews to utilize and the Crown one as well to trip elite as best you can. But 29 VLS coming from Juicy Apple right now, still trying to dominate this fight and doing an absolutely fantastic job of doing so.
He really is. And people back home, you may realize that the other fights aren't going on. That is because we are now at the quarterfinal stage. So these are going to be going one at a time. We'll then be moving into the semis and then obviously the finals afterwards, which will determine who is going to be the winner of $20,000.
This would be. Oh, the 49 sport! Here we go, the special attack from the Rain Crossbow.
And it's
I love those hits, man. That's insane. So good to see the big damage. That's what I just like seeing big hits.
It's amazing when you see it, and it's especially great when people are wearing full tank and you can just see the hits come through. It really just shows you how important it is to make sure you have the right equipment on.
I'm just a massive man. I just like seeing RuneScape fight at it, man.
With that. It's a brilliant game, and why would you not love it?
That's what we're here for today. Juicy Apple hitting a nice 23. And wait, does DI Raccoon have a suffering, or is it Juicy Apple has a suffering? I think Juicy Apple actually has a suffering.
Both players have hearts.
But no, I mean, the ring slot, they have sufferings as well for the recalls, I believe, which is a little bit of damage every single time back on their opponent. So it's neck and neck right now.
But they're both Vengeance players, right? Vengeance users.
Yeah, both
using
Vengeance.
Heart really
the imbued heart. So basically, if you're fighting someone that's got magic and you use that imbued heart,
it's going to give you the extra magic defense.
Yeah, because magic attack also equals your magic defense. So you need to have that mage level as high as possible. Maybe as well, they've killed someone that had one and just thought they'd pick it up anyway, just for the sake of it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're not going to be able to fill their inventories now.
No, exactly.
That you get a nice damage exchange here between the two players. DL Raccoon going in for a smite, maybe a misclick. Looks like he's out of food now, though. Juicy Apple has the upper hand. However, that 15 is going to help balance this fight out.
They're both out of food at the moment. It's 39 versus 26 HP.
Have to be really careful for these melee hits now. Going in for the range of nice 20 hit. DL Raccoon needs to make sure.
If it's a zero, that could be it. There's the redemption.
Wow.
Lovely.
No way. He's got 2 doses of prayer left. He has 2 chances unless he gets overhit.
No way.
The Vengeance took him out. 4 HP.
Wow. That was so. It could have been a double death there. Or rather, it would have been his kill because the damage splat would have hit before the Vengeance did. And looks like Emery making it forward, representing Fools as their leader. Quarterfinal number 2 about to start. We have Disqualifier, who is Fools Kembo, the guy that beat the person that beat Boti. So out for revenge right now. And Demonic Ball representing Blazers. Both players having the similar setups. Actually, no, Fools Kembo. We have a tribrid left in this tournament. That's fantastic to see.
He's going to be able to get it.
Oh, he's flaming. He's trying to get his opponent, trying to be, be a bit confused and stuff. 56 from Demonic Ball. That is huge. That is free food down already for Kembo. But Kembo, a really powerful hybrid. He knows what he's doing.
He's cool here. We've seen how good he was before, but those hits are really coming in hard with that melee. Doing a really good job of just not even a good, it is a good job. He knows when to go in for the melee hits. It's whenever he's been trying to go in for magic and he's not been frozen. Here we can see the Mithril Seeds being used to their full effect of making sure their opponent cannot stand underneath them.
But now Disqualifier firing back himself with one of those VLS specs hitting quite hard as well. He realizes that Demonic Ball has the flowers. So if he does decide to free them in place, Demonic Ball can just step away until the whole arena is filled with flowers. You can't put flowers in the same spot twice. 31 VLS through his prayer as well.
He's doing a really good job.
He's getting such insane specs. And here we go, the tornado effect. Just, going for it. And just once you get that momentum in place in your favor, it's so hard to come back. A 39 bolt.
Well, the damage has been non-stop here at the moment. And it's because Demonic Bolt is really timing those melee hits perfectly. It's on the right tick for as soon as he manages to walk towards his opponent, the damage registers at the same time. So his opponent really doesn't have that much time to react. He's trying to freeze him constantly. Disqualifier here finally manages to get a nice hit. 30 damage hit there. I believe that was from the barrage.
Might be too little too late, though, I'm afraid.
Really nice switch there into magic, though, from melee. Unfortunately, didn't do a lot of hit damage. But yeah, I think you're right here, Ian. Demonic Bolt has just got such an advantage in terms of that inventory. But there we go. A nice stack suddenly could turn the tides of this battle.
I mean, Demonic Bolt's been very careful, though. When he gets down to low HP, he instantly puts up Prey Melee, not giving his opponent a single chance to get those huge VLS specs in and getting a KO potential on him.
We have Disqualifier, who was taking off his helm then for that magic hit.
Every little helps, doesn't it? I mean, you've got to do it at this point when you're... How much food down is that? Like 4 or 5 food down? But I mean, at the same time, if you get a couple of 30s, a couple of 20s, bam, you're back in the fight. It can happen just as easily. Although saying that, Demonic Ball does have that vengeance.
Oh, wow.
Hits.
A nice 30 hit coming through.
That
We
could have been
literally
a KO
just said a moment ago, that was it. It just needs a few hits to actually register, and the fight just completely balances out.
Oh, no, absolutely. Looking at the special attacks right now as well. Demonic Ball having 30% left. He's still got that VLS. Can KO Fool's Kembo disqualify it if he gets lucky enough? Disqualify now on one shark. He's got his 3 brew doses. Again, like you said before, there it is, the 49, the spec that I spoke about. And there it is.
So much damage.
That is so difficult to come back from now. I believe it might be all over Fool's Kembo.
That could have been it, yeah, that's enough. Especially when you consider the fact Demonic Bolt has vengeance. Every time Disqualifier gets a big hit from here on out, he's not going to be able to recover from it. So unless he can stack him, it's going to be the end.
At the same time, though, I mean, Disqualifier almost has 25% special attack, which is the requirement to use the VLS special, which, as we've seen before, can do absolutely monumental damage, 60s and such, but it might be too little too late. The vengeance stacking into a 33 really nice through his prayer, and he could have been KO'd there. 4 sharks advantage. Demonic Ball takes that with ease.
That was an incredible fight.
Wow.
So much damage coming in the way from Demonic Bolt, mostly down to the fact that his hits were just timed perfectly against, the opponent that was wearing his less defensive armors. It's much nicer being in that tank position because you don't have to worry about accidentally going in or being in at the wrong time and having, less actual defense against whatever your opponent is going to use at the time.
Can we also figure out who these players are from? I believe HRN might be from Tartar. As I saw that Majors book, I believe his old name was Symphony or something like that, Symphony. And I think he actually killed me on my demo mode tournament.
So we have HR Non, who is actually not registered as part of any clan, so it could be a solo player. And then we have Luco Taco, who is representing Tartar.
Okay, then. Maybe it's Tartar versus Tartar. I tell you what, HRN as well is doing such a good job of faking right now and waiting, stalling his damage, allowing his opponent to actually hit big, and then deciding what he's going to use after. 32 through the prayer, but HRN almost KOs his opponent. That could be a KO there on 32 hit points. Luco going for the tank setup. He has a miasmic staff in his, the staff in his inventory, the PvP weapon, that he hasn't got any major runes to use with. Maybe it's for extra defense bonus. He can just wield it occasionally or something.
Potentially, yeah.
HRN at the moment as well. Sorry, go on.
I just want to interrupt you. Sorry, Ian. I just want to make sure that everyone that is at home, that is watching, everyone in the audience is aware that our affiliation of the clans and knowledge of them is to our best knowledge. It might not be 100% accurate, so it may be that this character isn't a solo player. It might not be that this guy's even with Tartar, but as far as we're concerned, as far as we can tell, that is as correct as we can be at this present moment in time.
Absolutely. And right now, HRN, look at his inventory advantage, going to show that actually, if you fight someone that doesn't know 100% what they're doing, or you can outplay them, and you have the tribal setup, you get a few lucky freezes, it can be the most confident build to really use. Luco at the moment, though, he's not out of it just yet. He still has he has no special attack. What? HRN has full
special attack a moment ago, but he's just got a nice swipe there with that sword, hitting a 30 followed by a 20+. Really nice bits of damage. It's going to take HRN.
Dude, it's evened out.
A little bit of food down. Yeah,
it has evened it out really well. And by the way, as well, HRN actually still has full special attack, not utilizing a single spec. And that could be his downfall, obviously, as special attack does recharge throughout the fight. A nice spec in here, finally.
17 though, whilst in protect from melee. So. At least he managed to get one out, not the best of timing. Maybe he's been just waiting for those Vengeance to come down because he doesn't want to do a big hit when Vengeance is up. Another great thing that you can utilize as part of the tank setup, which might be why a lot of our players opted to go for it, because last tournament we didn't see it very much. But seeing the damage potential of the VLS, potentially having tank and Vengeance is just the best thing to rebound that.
Definitely. Also a big spec right now, a 38 overboard spec, I believe was that Diamond Bolt
spec or something. And then a 30 Bud Barrage as well.
Now, saying as well, actually, whoever makes it through this round is going to get themselves a full set of Armadil. Whether it's useful or not at this stage of the game, probably not, because, no one's got really magic left on. But still, the range bonuses of having full Armadil is absolutely huge when range has got biggest DPS.
Considering that using ranged and melee, it definitely is worthwhile. Now, interestingly as well, you can see here the fights. This is the third fight. We have one left. They know who's going through, and you can figure out what your opponent has, their play style, what kind of times they want to go in for special attacks. A nice hit there, 26 coming from HRN. But it's going to be really good for those other players to have been able to witness this fight.
I'm actually so surprised. HRN was actually dominating the start of the fight, and now he's actually come back. But saying that, the 35, although being Vengeance back from Luco, now Luco is out of food, 67 hit points. HRN looks to be almost out of food too, approximately 100 HP. So there's not much in it, one hit, and it's even Stevens. And Luco with the little VLS hit there, hitting a 0, unfortunately, for him. And HRN, again, keeping calm and just stalling his hits, keeping his tank armor on every time his opponent hits him, catching that freeze. That was so important, so so crucial. And now can he get that DD underneath? Maybe, you know, keep up this pace of the fight, keep controlling it. Luco now down to 37 hit points. HRN taking no damage whatsoever. Once you're frozen away, you can only use range. You can only use one attack style. You're not going to do that much damage, really, are you?
This might be the first Brid that we've managed to see get through. And there we have it. HRN has managed to get through. Unfortunately, we don't know who is part of a clan at the moment. He might even be a solo player, but he just did a fantastic job.
And he's picked himself up.
Down his opponent.
The full Armadillo as well, which could be really effective against these two guys. Actually, we have more hybrids in the tournament. Never mind about the tank setup.
Here we go.
S-Engineer being Alfie, of course, who's made it this far. And he's got himself the Dragon Crossbow.
Against North-South, who is representing Lit.
Well, there we go. A Lit member still in. Might be Voss, actually.
So we have Blazers against Lit. S-Engineer representing Blazers, also known as Alfie, and then North-South is representing Lit.
He's using, when I was saying this before, actually, he's using the javelins as his range weapon, just to throw them. If he runs out of javelins, though, he's not going to have any range attacks. He only has 28 left in the tournament.
Interestingly as well, the only person that we've seen so far who actually has a magic defense shield. So he just have the malediction ward. So it's dropping into that whenever he uses magic, whereas, you know, Alfie, S-Engineer, is having to stick with the crystal shield.
Oh, they're saying that, though. The Malediction Ward has very low melee and range defense bonuses. But yeah, it's got a tank shield, too, a DFS, which would be very useful
so
as
long as he just switches into those with the perfect timings, which it looks like he's doing a very good job of being able to do so far. Should be able to help him in the fight.
I will say one thing, though. Unfortunately for North-South, he doesn't have a Suffering, and Alfie does. And that is a huge advantage in this fight, going to show that, you know, it's worthwhile grabbing that from Demonic Gorillas if you're able to get yourself some
nice hit
M2 done.
Really good timing, but didn't hit the huge. There we go, another hit followed up again. 2 specs out, might as well get rid of it, especially when the guy's sitting there. Has the protect from melee up, but was wearing his magic robes. So
Alfie is just absolutely dominating this tournament right now. Unfortunately, the Staff Bash, has had to do that, as I said that. But regardless, man, getting the Premier League on for the VLS spec, doing a really good job, being stepped under right now, but still having a huge food advantage against North-South. And again, hitting and so much damage against him. I don't think North-South's going to come back. I mean, that Dragon Crossbow is just so strong and hits through defense so well. And actually, Alfie, if he wins this fight, he also gets himself the upgrade of the DFS.
You said he couldn't bring it back. North-South, 2 really nice hits, and that's probably going to even up the food situation
and a 31 barrage as well. North-South coming back in absolute stellar style. And another 23 VLS.
That could have been it. He could have been taken out, I'm pretty sure.
No, absolutely. That was the right prayer to hit it on. And North-South, if he gets the Suffering, does get himself as well the recalls in his inventory, so he can charge that Suffering, which is huge for him.
You may have jinxed this fight entirely, Pure Spam, because North-South has definitely brought it back now. We're looking at a food situation of 3 sharks,
so sorry,
2 Saradomin Brewdoses against S-Engineer, who has 2 sharks, 2 Karamban. Making that 1 shark, 1 Karamban, and 1 Saradomin Brew.
S-Engineer right now, a.k.a. Alfie, trying to catch this freeze. He's to catch it. Catches it, luckily for him. And now he's going to be unfrozen any second.
Is this time to shine? His opponent does have Mithril Seeds, however, whereas S-Engineer does not have them. So there we go, a freeze back, going back in.
Man, those javelins, even without the special attack, are still hitting absolutely insane damage. That's a 30 barrage again. The fakies from North-South, absolutely obliterating Alfie. But Alfie's out of food, 48 hit points.
Wow, he's really done a good job
has
of 80
HP and 3 sharks left. I mean, it's probably a little bit too late now. And yeah, I think I did jinx it, actually. Alfie was in the lead by quite a bit.
I mean, he had to do something crazy to bring it back, and he absolutely did. But look at the difference in supplies left. He's also picked himself up, you know. Whatever he wants to take from Alfie, I don't think there's anything in there that you could utilize, though. Maybe he takes the Dragon Crossbow instead of using the Javelins, but it seems to be working for him so far.
I mean, and to win this fight as well, against a Ring of Suffering, which every single time you hit deals damage back.
Of course, he gets the Ring of Suffering.
Difficult.
That's the most important thing from this fight. He's going to go out of it with the best
if S-Engineer puts up the Redemption right now, he can get a heal if he changes prez.
Oh, no!
But he gets VLS spec'd out, and that is the end of the road for Alfie. North-South going through. LD, I wonder which class. Is that DL maybe, potentially? So we spelled it wrong?
Yeah, we had Lit down as a potential affiliation there, but it might be that it was DL.
Might be DL as well. I mean, we don't know at this point in the game mode. Obviously, all we're going by is
we'll find out.
What they spam in game, really. So if you are watching the tournament, you're still playing in it, please give us a little hashtag of what clan you're with. But no, it's been absolutely fantastic so far. I can't believe that Alfie actually fell there. So unfortunate.
Managed to get so far, but fell just at the last hurdle. But I mean, congratulations to get it as far as he did. One thing that I really liked about that round in particular was that it just went to show that full tank isn't always the best.
No, definitely not.
And even though Alfie had the Ring of Suffering, he had the advantage in terms of gear and in terms of setup. He should have statistically won that fight. But unfortunately for him,
towards the end,
he was outplayed, and a lot of damage came his way, and he wasn't able to mitigate it by returning any back. No. So,
and those comebacks as well make this tournament so interesting because it's not over until you know it's completely over. People can come back for several food very easily. And watch the replay package right now. This was Fool's Kembo versus Demonic Bolt, Juicy Apple versus DI Raccoon. Juicy Apple being the leader of Fools, and I believe that Ian Merry the leader of Fools, did manage to win this fight and take down DI Raccoon. It was very, very close. 2 tanks going at it, absolute titans of this tournament.
As you said, it would be it went close to the wire.
It really was really close, but Juicy Apple just taking it with only 4 hit points left. Now Disqualifier, Fools Kembo versus Demonic Bolt as well. Demonic Bolt being in Blazers and Disqualifier being from Fools. So again, a bit of the negative talk from Demonic Bolt trying to fake out his opponent, and I mean it worked for him. Fools Kembo not able to keep up with Demonic Bolt, and just that full tank setup. It's gonna be interesting to see how he does against that other hybrid that's still left in the tournament, who was doing so well against Alfie, one of the best hybrids left in the tournament right now, you have to say. But Demonic Bolt had so much food left over at the end. We have Luco versus HRN as well, and this is the fight we just saw a second ago.
A fantastic fight. The way that this turned around towards the end was just absolutely incredible. Like those hits, the VLS is really just like, it's such a deal breaker in these fights. You really need to make sure that you have one and use it at the best times. And the players that have really just gone to show that it's made them win.
And we saw a bunch of cross-post special attacks coming there. Got a little bit too excited when those go off. And the Blood Barrages too being utilised to heal yourself a little bit of HP. Every little tactic like that just helps a little bit more. That was such a close fight. This, sorry, was the fight. This was Alfie versus
this was the one.
South. This was the one that was so close, where Alfie was dominating at the start. You saw him being up a little bit of food. But North-South
he just seemed to be controlling it completely, and then
look at this point here. At this point here, it's a brew versus a brew, and like several shark cost round one up.
The 30. It's because look, he was protect from ranged in the robes,
and again a 31 barrage there as well.
Straight away,
and a 24. Those javelins, I didn't think anyone were using them. People were going for the dragon crossbows and such, but the javelins clearly being really strong as well.
Don't forget as well, the javelins, they have a special attack.
They do.
So they have a spec bar. They are a ranged spec weapon. We talked about that earlier in the tournament and how important it can be to help you get those real fast switches into different pieces of equipment.
Can't see what's coming.
It's very difficult to predict what they're going to be doing in those situations.
And the guy that actually just beat Alfie as well gets himself Alfie's gear. So
and
the DFS is suffering.
He had those Ring of Recalls to charge it as well.
Really smart strategy there.
Really good for him. Now we are going to be going into the Final Four, the semi-finals, okay? And this is the clash of the clans.
Oh,
do you want to know why?
Go on, man.
All right. In the Final Four, to the best of our knowledge, apologies if we've got it wrong, anyone back at home, clan members, don't get upset if we did. I'm sure you can verify later on. But we're looking at Lit versus Fools versus Blazers versus... who the hell knows?
The last guy could be a solo player. It could be a guy from DL, maybe from the other clans.
That's an interesting close-up, thank you.
Gorgeous, mate.
I probably should have shaved before I came on here. And those players, we're going to be looking at North, South, East, who is representing Lit. Juicy Apple against Fools. We've got Demonic Bolt for Blazers, and HRN, who we have no idea who is affiliated
Big names as well. I mean, I think Demonic Bolt, actually, I'm not going to say what the actual name is, but I think it's one of the leaders of Blazers.
Okay.
We have, obviously, Ian Mary, like you said before, representing Fools. So we got the big guys from these clans as well, making it all the way through to the end.
I think you should say who it might be.
I'm not going to risk his potential.
Okay.
Let's jump right into it.
Hopefully we'll find out if they manage to get through, because I'm sure we will. Here we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the semi-finals of the Deadman Winter 18 tournament. Can't wait to see how this one unfolds. We're going to be doing one fight at a time, thankfully. We get to this straight away, both players down to half HP, those Vengeance hits with the VLS.
But they both anticipated the VLS coming in straight off the bat with the Prey melee. Both hitting 30s, though, and then retaliating it straight back. It's completely even right now. Both have 79 HP using 2 food.
Both players have fantastic pieces of gear as well. You can see here that they're up into the tank shell.
Juicy Apple, forget to put his run energy on, but it doesn't matter. Still hits a 37. He's walking around the map, all casual, like he doesn't care. He's made it this far. He's having fun at the moment. And like I said before, both these players, Fools and Blazers, I believe these are both the leaders or some of the really high-ranking players of their teams. Demonic now trying to chuck in those VLS as best he can, and it's currently, I'd say gear-wise, Juicy Apple as well, utilizing that range switch in between hits. Demonic just sticking in the same gear pretty much, apart from changing over
his... Nice hit there from Juicy Apple as well. Getting into every pit. Oh, okay. Retaliation hits coming through as well. Really good Vengeance coming through for Juicy Apple. The damage just goes back and forth constantly with these tank fights. So you don't see anything for a little while, and then it's just constant. And then they eat up again and straight back again. Start over.
They both have such attacks still left over. I would say Juicy Apple is in the lead right now with a couple food advantage. But as we've seen before, it doesn't matter. Demonic Bolt getting a 21 bolt in. Those bolts, man, coming in strong. But retaliated by another 20 from Juicy Apple as well. Both got the Vengeance. Can be utilized very soon as well. And I think Juicy Apple's doing a really good job of switching his styles across and going for the tank gear at the right times. But Demonic getting a 36 through the prayer, plus an 18 retaliation Venge, which is really nice as well. Not too high a hit. But when your opponent is going to hit you, if he's going to hit you big, you may as well have a Vengeance up for those hits as well.
It definitely helps out And you can see now both players just opting to try and keep Protect from melee up as much as possible.
I mean, the VLS is just so accurate, man. You don't have your premo every time. And if they're potted up, it's going to be like a 50 to the forehead. You can't really do much about that one at all. Demonic Bolt now utilizing his bruise to the best of his ability. But look how much food disadvantage he has right now. Both players with Rings of Suffering. So even if Demonic Bolt does, exchange hit for hit, he's just going to fall to the Suffering. He's
two sharks left here for Demonic Bolt. It looks very bad for him, but it could be the case of just a few more hits that help bring it back for him. And there we have it. Before we look at it now, we're looking at 1 shark for Demonic Bolt, 4 sharks for Juicy Apple. If he can get in 1 spec, one good spec is all that it will take. And every time that he's protected from a melee, then Demonic Bolt can just come in with the range and hopefully get that look, which is going to help him just balance this fight out.
Juicy went for the VLS
spec
there.
There you have it, 39.
There it is, yeah.
Juicy from melee staying up.
And the 18. I mean, he's doing really well to stay in this fight right now. 73 hit points versus 62. Whoa, another big hit there again.
It's in Demonic
He's just come
Bolt's
back in no time, literally. And now he has 50% spec versus 50% spec. Any second now, they're going to get more special attack. Juicy Apple gets it first. You can utilize the VLS. Can still hit like 60s and stuff. If he went for the VLS spec, there was the right prayer. Could have easily gotten
coming up as well.
We could see a KO here or a double KO. Unfortunately for Juicy Apple, only a 4 on his Vengeance. And Demonic Bolt using his Vengeance now. Can he get a big retaliation potentially? Looking right now, both specs being used.
Oh, that was a spec even used up from Demonic Bolt. Nothing though. But Juicy Apple's opting to just still camp that Protect from melee. So Demonic Bolt is able to just bring out that crossbow every time that he wants.
And those Opal bolts,
chance.
they hit so well through prayer.
They really do.
Utilizing the redemption a bit too early on there, maybe. You're sitting on 54% HP versus 52. Again, neck and neck, so close. And this is literally so much prize money on the lines between.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Between a final, a chance of $10,000 or $20,000 right here, depending on who makes it through. Juicy Apple utilizing his spec as well. Another 0 for the 0 that Demonic Bolt just hit on him as well. And it's so close right now. Another spec of 50.
50 spec.
Oh my gosh! The Demonic Bolt hits the 50 bolt.
Holy moly!
In true fashion of his name, respect
the one
to that.
time that he goes in without Protect from melee.
Unfortunate for Blazers right there. Sorry, fortunate for them. Unfortunately for Eomeri, the leader of Fools, falling just before with only a few HP difference. Now North, South, East versus HRN coming in here. Can you remind us again, Ben, of which teams these guys are from? I believe HRN we don't know, do we?
HRN, we have no idea. North, South is affiliated with Lit, we believe.
Okay, well, Lit had a smaller force, so they told us within this tournament, but in actuality, we saw they had like 60+ people.
And I did notice earlier, whilst this fight was starting, HRN was actually trash-talking North-South, saying, you really think you're going to beat me? So I'm
seriously
kind of hoping to see the...
well, it's a bit of a mind game, isn't it? Trying to psych your opponent out. At this stage of the game, all these guys haven't been this far before, and when money is on the line, you're representing your whole entire team, and everything is really riding on you to make them, have that cruise of the lifetime with the clan, or go to a mansion they're going to get out, and they're all laughing in game right now. It's just like
both players,
absolute disrespect.
We've got North-South, who's got that much gear that he's having to juggle food from the floor because he has just that much in his invent.
So
a lot of switches, hasn't dropped it out. But really interestingly, we're actually seeing 2 Brids fight against one another. We've seen 2 tanks. We are now, regardless of whoever wins, it's going to be hybrid against tank.
And HRN catching the freeze right there. Can he utilize it, though? And those switches, doing like 4 ways, or 3 ways, rather. He's got a Mage's book for the extra Mage attack bonus as well to make sure those freezes do actually count, whereas North Sea has got the switch with the the Malediction Shard, probably. Right now, a freeze coming in for North Sea. Can he step underneath? The Javelins just hitting zeros now. They're so much more effective versus Alfie, but that's just the game, really. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't over time. Hopefully on the right prey, he's going to get some good hits in, though. He still has 85% special attack versus 95%, so we're going to see some big specs coming in very shortly as well. Both players having the VLS, which can swamp people. It's a 5-tick weapon, so it's quite fast compared to the AGS, which traditionally is quite slow. A nice 12 there,
really
unfortunately.
Nice hit there.
It wasn't the right prayer, but
really
just, not really the damage he wants to hit. And jumping in again right now, he's using the Javelins, or at least faking with them to try and catch this freeze, but splashing, and both players splashing, and HRN actually being frozen with the Armadillo top on, really surprising. He's got so much Mage defense bonus right there. And North-South does have a disadvantage in terms of gear, I believe. But again, I'm still so surprised that he didn't utilize Alfie's weapon. 41 VLS coming in right now as well. Yeah, he could have picked up the bolts and stuff.
If it was me, I probably would have at this point taken on the Dragon Crossbow.
I mean, especially after seeing the 50 from Demonic Bolt a second ago to win that fight.
Definitely worthwhile bringing. Now, I was going to mention how HRN has just got so much more supplies compared to North-South, but North-South has just managed to bring it back in the last 3 hits. So that they're almost equal. However, HRN still has a combat and ranged potion, so he's going to try and use that. Looking at it, 65% special attack.
That's pretty much free specs this fight,
we're going to be looking at in a moment, he's going to sip his last brew. There we go. He's going to restore that back up. You can probably bet now that he'll start potting. Oh, man, it's like I'm a clairvoyant. And the next two things that you'll do is you'll start using his special attacks because he's at maximum combat stats whilst his opponent is trying to go into the...
And unfortunately for Northman, he needs to come back there, and he hit a very low VLS spec on the right prayer too.
He's also now out of food.
87 HP versus, what is that, like 160? I mean, it's only double the HP, but a 47 clutches HRN, the huge advantage right now. He still has 2 special attacks left. On the right prayer again, a 13. Can he finish this one off? Or is North Sea going to come back in time?
Just been frozen there. North Sea going in for the hit, but not doing any damage. Needs to step under. Does not want to be standing out there because one hit and he's dead.
Prayer though, he can still hit that through prayer, which
it might even die to the suffering.
I mean, yeah, probably actually with 21 HP left. I think you're right. He's actually going to fall here.
53 spec from the VLS.
I mean, even through prayer, you can easily take down 20 HP. That was the wise decision. I mean, all that terrible talking game, flaming his opponent out, but goes to show that he was the better hybrid.
Yeah,
clearly.
he really did a good job there of to the point that we could almost predict what he was going to do move for move. Just shows that he knows himself what he has to do to make sure that he's going to win that fight.
Absolutely. And that was the semi-finals.
We are going into the last fight of the tournament, which is going to be the grand final.
Grand final. Oh my gosh, we're here already. So first place, of course, $20,000 grand prize. Wow.
So we've got Demonic Bolt against HRN. Demonic Bolt representing potentially Blazers. We still have no idea who HRN is representing.
We don't know who he is. So we've got a hybrid now who's shown himself to be a very competent PKer as well. His skill set, his gear as well, advantage he's got. But maybe both players have got max gear right now. But Demonic Bolt got a little trick up his sleeve. Those 50 bolts, if they hit on the right prayer, man, it's all over
again,
for
you
him.
say that you got the 50 bolts, but he's also got the 53 VLS spec.
True. Both players have the VLS. I mean, Vengeance versus Barrage. I don't know which way it's going to go. We're going to look at the replay package real quick right now.
I'm going to beat you for 20K. That's we didn't get to see that. 10K.
So much for that one.
That was really back and forth, yeah.
So yeah, this fight was Juicy Apple versus Demonic Bolt. As I said before, Juicy Apple was representing Fools as their leader, Iamira, making it to the top 4, showing that, that clan is not just a multi-clan. They're really competent in singles too, so great job to him. But unfortunately, just falling short versus Demonic Bolt, who is from Blazers, one of their leaders representing them. And again, making it obvious that going for those items, the Ring of Suffering, the DFS, the ACB and such, it was totally worthwhile that week. They weren't PKing much during the week, and it clearly paid off.
There's like a lot of people that are surely going to be out there saying, oh, everyone's just taking tank gear, it's the meta. There's that beautiful bolt.
Oh, that was so lucky,
I love that so much.
But still, Iamira is saying good fight, respect to him, man, despite falling.
Completely. So, back to the point of a lot of people will be like, oh, everyone's wearing tank gear, that's not the way people should be breeding. But you've got to remember that in order to get this gear, it's not just a case of like, oh, you just get to the tournament, rock up and pull it out your bank. These clans have spent so much time. They have taken huge risks to make sure they can lock down these areas to be able to fully camp them out. And without that, they wouldn't have been able to be in the position they are now. So fantastic effort for them to get the gear that they have, to have got as far as they have too. It's clearly showed to be paying off for them now. I can't wait to go into this final.
We're about to jump into it. We've got the range tank versus the tribrid.
Come on, make your predictions now. Is it going to be Demonic
I don't know who HRN is, and after seeing him, talking a little bit of smack versus opponents, I'd love to see the karma kick in, and I want to see Demonic Bolt throw a bunch of 50s.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'd like to see, let's hopefully that Demonic Bolt is a nice guy.
He is lovely. I do know him. He's a
You know him,
guy.
You won't tell us who he is just yet. Hopefully we'll find out. But yeah, it would be nice to see the good guy come out on top.
Absolutely. Let's jump into this final of the Demo Mode Winter 18 tournament. $20,000 on the line.
2 seconds, 1 second to go. Let's get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, the final fight of the Deadman Winter 18 tournament.
HRN just said #frontline. So one of the most notorious single clan PKers out there.
Hold on, while the action's slow, I say slow, they nearly died here. Look at this arena. What is going on?
Oh, wow, the PK skull as well. That's beautiful. Very
fantastic.
Icy. Very,
Thank you again, Mod West. We've said it before, we'll say it again. Mod West is best. Now, enough of that for the thank yous for now. Let's have a look at this fight. Demonic Bolt frozen in place by HRN obviously does not have the barrage. Is opting to use the tank with Vengeance. Has Suffering, I believe both players do. HRN with a nice hit there with the VLS against Protect from Magic.
Again, just fake his opponent as best he can. But from the back, actually, Demonic Bolt got, I think it was 2 30-something VLS specs through. But HRN retaliating using 2 of his specs as well. One of them hitting a nice 25 through the prayer. Now, Demonic in the full armor deal. Can't be frozen in place by HR. I think what HR is doing is he's switching to his magic gear to try and force Demonic Bolt to pray mage and then quickly switching to something else, such as the VLS. But a little misclick here. Maybe the nerves are slightly getting to him. Demonic Bolt just going for those big bolts here, hoping for those 50s. Oh, 32. Unfortunately for him, HRN just gets the freeze on. 30 freeze here, catching him in place. And HRN realizes that opponent's actually got those Mithril Seeds. No point in walking underneath. I'd say right now,
no point in walking underneath, though.
Is the same as well.
Yeah, completely equal. But you've got to remember that if HRN can manage to catch that freeze, all he has to do is sit in pretty much tank and protect from ranged, because there's no more damage output from Demonic.
No, you're completely right.
He doesn't have a third swap apart from that Vengeance, but, you know, HRN can predict that. He can just go in and poke whenever he wants.
No, literally, and just, you know, slide,
that's exactly what he's doing.
Around the arena like it's an ice skating rink, really, you know, winter theming. And HRN right now, can he catch his freeze? Can he walk underneath? Catch the 31, that's beautiful, but unfortunately for him, he does get the Vengeance retaliation as well. He now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Sharks versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Sharks as well.
It looks
both
like
players very
up
similar.
A little bit though in terms of bruise. Both players have opted to use the same technique. However, Demonic Bolt just decided to use his combat motion.
The 37 was using the Mithril Seeds too. That's very unfortunate for him. And a 28 Blood Barrage. Oh my gosh, HRN just, you know, going around like crazy, man. He's just trying to get as much time as possible and constantly catching a Demonic Bolt off prayer. But Demonic is not out of this one yet. I've not seen any of those Demonic Bolts coming into effect though, unfortunately for him.
HRN has just had so much good luck of getting these freezes, especially against someone who's wearing full armor deal. We were saying about how that might not come up so useful for someone who doesn't have the ability to kind of like, you fully utilize 3 combat specs, but he's actually fully in there. It doesn't matter. HRN just catches every single freeze.
No, you're completely right. They're about 33 Bolt from Demonic Bolt. He's about to put it into overdrive, catching the 0 VLS spec. Very unfortunate. Okay. He's unfrozen right now, so HRN wants to catch that freeze as fast as possible and catches it instantly again on the full armor deal. This guy's RNG is absolutely insane. Demonic Bolt now only has 2 Karambans left compared to HRN's 1 Shark, 1 Karamban, 2 Brewdoses. He's got a slight advantage, but we've seen it happen before. We'll see it happen again potentially if Demonic Bolt gets a few big hits off. But, I mean, like you said before, if HRN is just freezing his opponent in place constantly, you can't really do anything apart from Bolt. But a 26 again, Prey melee perfect for HRN, getting the Venge back up again too. And
there he is, he's frozen once more.
What? Every single time this guy's RNG is insane. He's not even using the Mage's Book at this point either. He's keeping the DFS on.
It wouldn't be so much of a problem if Demonic Bolt had another attack.
Oh, the 43 KO!
No way! That's it, it's done.
He's won it with that!
He managed to beat his opponent.
I've not seen a KO in the finals before, have we? He had 2 food left. Hashtag frontline, hashtag Inya. We've seen this guy before. Inya is one of the top hybrids in the entire game, taking home that $20,000 prize.
They wanted to end that fast.
Mate, I can't believe that. He had 2 Karambans left. He's going to be kicking himself. But like, that just shows the power of the VLS.
Yeah,
you know, walk around and dance
he was doing a fantastic job of just really controlling his opponent. Yeah, granted, he got really lucky with the freezes, but his opponent had no other option. He can only use ranged and melee.
But I will say, I think every single clan must be so happy with their clan members' performances. We saw,
we look at how many people got into like the final 8 individual clans. It was Clash of the Clans coming up to the final 4, and then eventually here we see someone who, you know, represented someone that wasn't even spoken about the entire tournament.
No, exactly.
So, good job to them. I do believe that we're going to be moving over to Mod Archie now, who's going to have a quick chat with the players. Once that's done, we'll get final confirmation on the victor. Obviously, if you've not been aware before, we do like to make sure that we've checked everything beforehand, and the team are going to go into and make sure there's been no wrongdoings up to this point. But for now, I'm going to leave you over with Mod Archie, and let's finally hear what the players thought about their tournament run-up so far.
Hey guys, we're joined with our 4 players on stage. Manked, you fought a decent battle, I think. You won your first fight, ended up losing your second fight. Was it Eomeri you were fighting? And how did that go?
It went well, however, I managed to splash 20 times. And I did the data, because we all love data. And if I just hit a 5 for every splash, I would have won that. So he was 88 HP, 20 splashes. It was unfortunate, but he's a good PK, so I'm happy to lose to him. It's fine.
That's very well said. And do you think if you did go on to beat him, do you think you would have stood a chance in a fight like that?
I'm never going to count myself out, so yeah, I think I could have stood a chance.
All right, well, best of luck to you. Are you competing in the next season in tournament?
Always.
All right, thanks very much, Manked. MMORPG, again, you made it to the finals. You've done well. Did you tie your place last time?
I believe the last time, I've won 2 fights before. Because this was an extra fight, it was top 64, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I managed to win 2 fights again. Luckily, some really good matchups at the start.
Yeah. And how did you think the tournament went overall? Is this exactly what you were kind of planning for?
Overall, like I was quite scared of our numbers, so I wasn't even too sure I was going to make it to the 1v1s. But luckily, there was a huge alliance at the end, which we managed to take over Falador. So I managed to get to the 1v1s, do some fights with my setup, and very happy overall how it went.
All right, well done to you. The next season, are you going with the same strategy? Can you talk to me a little bit about what you're going to be doing?
So next season, probably going to be qualifying for the tournament again. For the strategy, probably just going to stick with the same thing. I do enjoy like session the whole week, putting in a lot of hours for it. So we'll see how it goes, and may change up some stuff depending on the overall tournament changes.
All right, well, thank you, MMORPG. Fool's Justice, we've been saying it since the beginning of this thing. We knew you had a target on your head, and it definitely seemed like there was a clan with a vendetta against you. What happened?
I got gangbanged.
So, you did get attacked by multiple people at the same time. That was unfortunate. You were dragon speared. There wasn't much you could do about that. Were you trying to spam click bruise at the end there, just trying to stay alive?
You can't do anything.
Nothing you could do.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Do you think if you had made it into the 1v1s, you would have stood a decent chance at winning this?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Have you made the Fools boys proud? I think so.
Hope
Come
so.
on.
And shout out to Iomer and Kembo. You did well.
They did do well. All right. Well done to you. Justice. Now we have Bodhi. Thanks, guys. There you go. Bodhi. You went up against, I believe it was Disqualifier in the finals. Was it? Who did you end up losing to?
No, because Disqualifier was Kembo. I fought another person from Fools who Disqualifier or Kembo actually beat later on.
Yes, that's right. And how did that fight go?
Well, my fight, I was there, and I think the first fight's the most important because you have the banks, you have the bruise and everything, rather than the set hit point cap.
Yep.
So when my guy appeared with max gear, and then he told me he was in Fools, I was like, I think Fools have some of the best 1v1s. I was like, this is going to be a tough fight. And I think he beat me with 4 bruise. I think I performed quite well. I'm not disappointed with my performance, but he was just better than me. He had the better stuff, so overall, I think he beat me with a lot of hit points left. But he went through and went quite far as well. Then lost to another Fools member, so I think they must have been happy with that.
And in the multi areas leading up to that fight, you were targeted quite heavily. You ended up making it through with just a little bit of food left, so I think you did well to make it that far. Would you have changed anything up for this strategy?
No. Normally when I go in the final area, I like downgrade the gear a bit, just so I'm not in the max gear, and then just try and blend in a bit, blood barrage to utilize as much hit points as possible. Then I just don't let my hit points drop too low, just in case I get dropped. Like if anyone sees a low hit point bar and targets me, I'm gonna die. So just my goal is literally stay alive, but at the same time I do as many barrages as possible, so I'm also dealing as much damage as possible. Because I think I killed 17 people with my barrages in the final area, so I obviously helped myself get through.
All right, well done to you, Bodhi. I'm now going to join the casters back on the sofas as we take a look at who ended up winning this entire tournament.
What a tournament that was. Absolutely incredible.
I mean, I was so shocked to see that one of the frontline members, Inya, who a name that really needs describing, he's been around for a long time and he's won multiple tournaments that a player ran in the past too, representing one of the fiercest 1v1 single clans in the game frontline. And yeah, he deserved that completely. He was walking around just dancing around, like I said before, skating around like an ice rink. It was just demolishing his opponent.
It was like watching someone go up against the pestilent bloat, just running circles around, waiting for the opportune moment and smacking them with full damage.
I like that analogy, that's nice.
It's true, he did seem very confident. We were saying this back upstairs, we were watching the fights, and there were some PKers that looked like they might have been a little bit nervous. The switches were coming in a little bit slower than you might expect, but he was pulling out those like 3-way barrage 1-ticks.
That guy was absolutely insane, and it just goes to show, especially when we've noticed all the way up until this point that pretty much every time, apart from 2 or 3 fights, I believe, that Tank won against Brid, and well, actually, if you're a fantastic Brid, if you get ridiculous RNG on your freezes,
man,
then it can really pay off. And unfortunately, for those that didn't catch the freezes, it wasn't their day. But you can clearly see that it's not always the case, and sometimes RNG can be on your side. But at the same time, whilst we do talk about RNG, there's no doubt about it. We've all said it before, we can see it. You saw it in-game yourself as well. Those switches were fantastic. The opportune moments. There's a reason why that spec managed to kill him at that point, and that's because he used it against the right prayer and the right armor.
Definitely had 2 Gromans left. But that's the first time I think we've seen in a demo tournament coming down to a KO and actually defeating their opponent.
Yeah, because normally it's like the last few hits, we get a redemption in there, and
it's
not
like
this
really
time.
hype and really close. But yeah, that
I love the
nowhere,
VLS.
Man.
I love
it makes the whole tournament so more hype, doesn't it? Like KO potential, it's great.
It's staying for the next season in tournament, right? So if you want to get your hands on that as a viewer, that looked like a lot of fun, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Play the next season.
Well, talking about the next season, it's going to be going live very shortly now that the tournament's soon to be ended. I'm pretty sure we're going to get full confirmation in a few moments about who was, official, just to make sure, but we're pretty certain. And then as soon as the tournament ends, we go straight into the season. You guys can Yeah,
Oh, it's the best thing.
The
man.
first
Jump
few
into the
hours
season, man.
especially are like the most ridiculous experience you're ever going to have in RuneScape. If you've never played old school RuneScape before, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know anything. You're going to get experience so fast. And plus as well, if you've never played it, if you've never done Deadman, you're not going to care if you die because you're not going to feel the
You're not going to lose anything. No, you just started it.
Yeah.
It's the same account that you log into the normal RuneScape with. It's just a new separate server that lasts for 1 month the seasonal. So you want to jump in right now. Everyone's level 3, fresh wipe, new economy, no items in the game yet. Be the first one to get that, that Dragonfire shield if you get lucky killing a dragon, or there's so many new things to the season as well we can add in a little bit.
All right, guys, I think that's enough talking. We can come back to us, but I think it's finally time we announce the winner.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and throw the winner of the Deadman Winter 2018 finale on the big screen.
Oh, okay, here we go.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I can't wait to get hold of this Alexander again, Archie.
Congratulations, HR non-lol
HR non-L-Tolpar, yeah.
Right,
Wonderful
Frontline.
name.
We'll say Frontline.
His name's India, I believe, is what he goes
Yeah,
by. He has a Twitter and stuff like that. I don't think he streams, but he does make videos potentially, or 55 is another name he goes by. So be sure to watch out for him.
We do reach out to the winners of these tournaments asking for a few words as a bit of a victory speech.
Okay.
I believe we're going to reach out and ask if he's up for a Skype interview, so we'll see if we can get that
interesting.
rolling. If not, hopefully we'll at least just get a few lines, even if he's just shouting
just
at
a word or
us.
two maybe, if possible.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of like flabbergasted by what that all panned out. So what I'll do instead is I'll revert to the season again and just quickly give you some advice. If you are starting for the first time, head over to the tutors within Lumbridge, the combat tutors. They're going to give you some fantastic starter weapons and a starter pack. They're going to pretty much get you to probably around about level 50, maybe even level 60 in
50
certain
range
stats.
and magic. And
So go grab those. They're free. They don't cost you anything. And just go and have fun, basically. That's what Deadman is all about. It's about having fun. It's about learning how to PK. It's about learning things about the game you probably didn't do before. If you're an Iron Man, you're probably going to do pretty well in Deadman. You don't have to fight everyone, don't forget. A lot of people play Deadman as a survival game mode rather than as a, as an actual going out killing people. And one good thing about that is that the more you practice surviving in Deadman, the more you're going to help yourself survive when you're out in the wilderness catching those black chin chompers.
And if you want a chance of obviously, taking part in this tournament, you've got to be the top two, right now, the top 2,000 total from the seasonal.
Yep.
So, get grinding, get your stats up nice and high, and find a clan to be a part of, because that's a huge part of demo mode as well, is, join forces, play with friends.
It's a great thing about Deadman as well. There's a lot of calls about clanning and how that, should be more favorable to solo, but I think we're in a really good position now, especially with the top 2, 5, 6, that solo players do have the potential to get through. But clans are always going to have, that level of an advantage because of the fact that it's a massive multiplayer online game.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to take that away from the game, especially.
The best part about it is that it brings together these friendships. Yeah, you take that away, you take away this huge part of the community.
Yeah, it's like a family, isn't it?
Yeah.
We talked about earlier about Fools, going on cruises together with the prize money they win. So.
Well, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to get their mansion and have this 70-person meetup, but it'll be interesting to find out what Frontline plan to do with their money.
Yeah, and I think joining in a new season, one of the first things I'd be doing is loading up the Twitch streams. Right now, we have so many streamers going live. Streaming the new season, you can either join them and literally mimic their journey, their strategies, or you can YouTube some guides. That works as well. I think it's worth noting, guys, we haven't really touched on this. This was a phenomenal tournament.
Oh, yeah. It was.
The 2, 5, 6
remembering
was
back,
so nice.
The first few Deadmen was just the last player who happened to be in the fog that stayed alive.
Oh my God, now you say that.
The true best PK.
It's come so far.
Yeah,
I suppose the production quality here at ESL, man, it's gorgeous. So we've got the set right now and just how smooth it all runs as well.
It has improved and it's only getting better. The next tournament's only going to be better. I can't wait for the spring finale.
No, me neither. I'm really excited for the spring season. We've got a lot of good changes in there. I'm hoping that we can bring in some really exciting stuff ready for the spring tournament. So fingers crossed for that one because it's just so fantastic. I love being in this position of being able to just talk about my favorite game in the entire world with some of my favorite people in the entire world as well.
Stop.
It's absolutely incredible. Deadman itself is fantastic. I love what it does for the PvP community and gives them an opportunity to kind of like actually, really just get their names out there. All Stars did a really good job. I'm hoping that kind of like transitions into a more of like a generic PvP thing as well. But until then, we do have Deadman. It is fantastic.
Yeah, man.
I love it to bits.
Jump in, man. Also, another good thing about the seasonals, we saw before, Manx saying that he splashed 20 plus times. I believe they've actually changed the way that Magic works in the seasonal as like a testing ground. So you want to run around and use Magic and use melee or range.
Yeah, make sure you provide JMods as well with feedback on that one because Magic defense and the way that it's calculated is very controversial within the old school community.
It's an old school game. It's been around since 2006 and been tampered with since then. So
yeah. So speaking of the new season, guys, I believe we're about to watch the new world go live in a second here.
Awesome.
There it is with that.
Here we have it.
Transition.
Hey, look at all the noobs crossing
Always
along.
agility course. Look at that.
These guys are wasting
All these
time.
fresh noobs.
Nah, man, they want to go to Agility Pyramid to start printing their money, their dollar bills.
enough.
That's why you prefer Agility for that one. Just getting a little base stats. Obviously, you've got safe zones where you can't be attacked by other players, so it's definitely worthwhile starting one of these places, Gnome Stronghold, this one. And from there, you can then go train skills up, go do your Slayer, or engage in PvP combat. Although I would say at this point, you want to get a few levels up first, because you go out there right now, there'll be a few clans that are lurking in the midst, maybe Frontlines looking for the next 20k they want to win. So watch out for that one too.
Talking about Frontline, I actually have a winning statement from them.
Fantastic.
What's you got to
read
say?
it out. So, this came from Inya. Today, we prove to everyone that anything we take serious, we win. No matter what it is. Single, multi, Deadman mode, you name it. Hashtag Frontline, hashtag LitFam. You ruined it at the end, but until that point, it was great.
That was a great speech.
The LitFam.
Was the lit fam as him saying like, oh, it's lit, or is it saying like we joined forces with the lit?
Are they the LitFam?
I don't know, man. Maybe they help them through to the finals.
Well, that's interesting.
It's the latter.
It's a very powerful message, and well, they have every right to say that right now because they've proven that a clan that we didn't mention once the entire build-up to the tournament
They've
had
not
no
been
info
very
about.
prevalent really in demo mode in the past seasons, and like I said before, they're very well known in normal old school RuneScape.
The beauty of Deadman really is we see these big clans come in. We saw Fools come in, and we saw all these massive teams ganging up on them, trying to take them out. But we didn't really pay attention to some of the smaller teams. So some of these guys that can come in with 5, 10, 20 people can actually come out on top because they don't seem to be targeted amongst the masses. They kind of slip through the cracks and then make their way to the 1v1s, which is where their specialty is, and absolutely dominate. So it was a very deserved win.
They definitely did. Well, Inya did anyway, and huge amounts of respect for that. I can't believe how incredible that fight was. Congratulations again to Frontline. Thank you so much for your winning speech. It was a very nice one. Very powerful message being sent there. Very interesting to see what kind of rivalries we see come out of this tournament into the next one. Are we going to have these alliances continue? Our friendship's going to be broken? Our community is going to be crushed?
Or made.
Who
in
knows?
some cases as well. Them getting closer together, like I mentioned earlier, with Fools going across and having their yacht parties.
This is like a Dragon Ball outro.
Well,
next time.
Find out on the next Deadman.
Okay, guys, I think that about sums things up.
Yeah, I just ruined it.
So I will thank everybody for joining us in studio here, especially the ESL Leicester crew, all the Jagex staff behind, particularly the guys grabbing the data for us. The stats were spectacular this time. And well done to you guys as casters.
Thanks for having us, inviting us again to hear us talk about RuneScape all day long. That's what we love. So yeah, appreciate it.
All right, guys, that about sums things up. So the new season is live. Hop into the Deadman Spring Season 2019. And well, thank you for watching. See you next time, guys.
See ya.